A Reaver Road show. After the Reavers got back to even with a homecoming blowout, it was time to see if Reaver football could maintain the good vibes that the team had been riding. This week, it's a trip to Independence and one of the most historic stadiums in Kansas. The Reavers take on the Pirates of Indy, and we'll have the highlights coming up. It's the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show, only on Iowa Western Television's Reaver Sports Network. From the studios of IWTV in Council Bluffs, some schools need nicknames to shed their past history, and none more glaring than this week's opponent, the Independence Community College Pirates, or Dream U, as the Twitter moniker says, according to a former coach. Hello, everyone. I'm Jake Ryan, along with head football coach Scott Stroh. You come in against Independence. We talked about it last week, Coach. A Jekyll and Hyde program and a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. You're not sure what you're going to get. They blow out Butler. They lose to Fort Scott. What team were you hoping to get? Obviously, the one that was going to get blown out. And how did you prepare for this game going in with the ups and downs that the Pirates have faced this year?
Well, sometimes that's hard when you see them at their best, and then you see when they're not at their best, and you got to prepare like their best, I guess, is the way you got to take it. And when we were looking at film and we seen some things, there's some guys on that team that showed really flashes that going into it, we're trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get something going here offensively or stop them defensively. But I think we've seen some of the bad when you get up on them, and I think that was the key is you want to be able to put them in position where they have some adversity to hit.
And I'm not sure that we'll see it, but there was a play that happened at the very start of the game, opening kickoff, and it was L.J. Wallace, linebacker playing special teams, went down for a tackle. It looked like a normal tackle, just in motion. And then L.J., of course, was pretty banged up, had to have the paramedics called. But that delayed the game for 20 minutes or so. How do you address the team during that time when everybody's on a knee, you're not sure how severe the injury is, and you've got to get them focused for basically 59 minutes and 55 seconds left of football. There was only 5 seconds off the clock during that time. What did you guys talk about, if anything, during that period?
Well, I've only been through a situation of severity of an injury, like not that injury, but one time, and it was at the end of the game. So we really just had to get through the game. And it's crossing my mind. There's 5 seconds off the clock, and how are our guys going to respond? And really, the guys did it. We didn't have to say anything. They got in the huddle afterwards, and we got to keep playing and now play for him, really, and not knowing what was going to happen.
And let's take a look at those highlights, see how the team would respond. First half from Independence, and the Pirates would go on the offensive first. You guys have done this a couple times where you defer to the second half. Didn't take the offense, and your defense comes up big, a 3-and-out, and then you get it going to Marcel Barbie.
Yeah, we don't defer very much. The last couple games, I was kind of hoping that we could, and just get our defense out there. They've been playing well. Let our offense kind of get into the game a little. Some
short passes working for both squads. This is a nice pass out to Tyler Blaha, and then again, it seemed like there was a lot of cheap shots as this game went on. We saw Marcel get tackled by an ankle. Watch this one again as they bring him down. No, it doesn't look like any after effects there, but you guys get it going. But how much do you look at those plays, at what the other team's doing afterwards, whether they're playing dirty or not?
We do. We take a look at them. Sometimes it's hard to see on our film, but when the players are saying it, you got to take a look.
Well, there's Cam Thomas. He didn't get touched on that touchdown run. First time that Cam's been in the end zone as the QB this year. Obviously, he's thrown lots of touchdown passes, but it was Shelton Applewhite last week. This time it's Cam Thomas in for the end zone. You guys get the early lead.
It was good. The second drive, we went 3-and-out offensively. Defensively, had back-to-back 3-and-outs, and then we got points.
So they were going to work. Stephon Brown starts the game at the quarterback. I'm not sure when he was hurt, but they ended up going with Craig Wells. You see Brown pretty mobile as far as things go. Nice run up the middle against the defense here.
He's a good player. To be honest, I didn't see a hit that would have knocked him out of the game, so I don't know if it was, something said on the sidelines or what they were thinking there.
Keenan Stewart, Avery Habas getting the tackle there. They're forced to punt again, and here's the return for Zion Williams up the middle. Cam and crew going back to work. A little bit of a slip on that initial run by Zaquandre. He gets popped pretty good just shy of midfield, but pops up real quick, showing that he's all right.
Yeah, it's good. Getting chunks of yardage, Zaquandre with the run, and then the pass there to Marcus Rogers.
And then Cam again throwing downfield. Nice catch by Deshaun Stoudemire. and Deshaun roughed up on that play. Chase Contreras going for the field goal. He's got a great leg, Chase Contreras does. This one was with the wind. He punches it through from, I believe, 39 yards out, and then they go back to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge when you can get Chase is kicking the ball really well, and when you can get 3 points. Now we're up 2 possessions, really 10, and you could see them depleted already on the sidelines when we were up 10-0.
There's a misplay that turned into a fortunate recovery for the Reavers. It bounced off the short man, and the Pirates of Independence, those look nothing like River Pirates, that's for sure, or River Pirates. The Reavers still moving up 10-0 as the the first half continues along with the second quarter. And then it's Cam down the middle. Nice catch again in space. Marcus Rogers finding a way to get open.
Yeah, and he went through the progression across the field. Marcus is really the fourth option on the play, and it was good to see him go through that.
There's the tiptoe, the sideline of Zaquandre White. Zaquandre back up the middle, pushing forward. This ball comes loose, and it is Independence that comes out on top of it. I saw one official pointing that he was down. The other official pointing, you can see it right there in the film. According to Travis Jacobson and his photography, he says that it was indeed a fumble. It looked on the replay like you guys did cough it up, and then, well, Independence almost gives it back right away.
Yeah, I mean, I felt we were going to potentially go up, 17-10 or 13-10, whatever that would be. We turned it over, but like I said, defensively playing pretty well to stop them.
Zaquandre still running tough. He and Sheldon Cage, a pretty good 1-2 punch here as Brian Snead has been out of the lineup, Jason Murray has been out of the lineup, and then again, just a lot of things going on, and that one, probably lucky there wasn't a penalty thrown there.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he wasn't trying, it looked like a punch, But, and again, you got to be able to control your emotions, even if you're trying to push them away.
Craig Wells handing off to one of 3 backs that they used all day. Coach, when you know you're facing a team that is going to use, I guess you could call it psychology to try to get into your head, what do you tell your team going in? Obviously, you've got a bunch of fiery players as well, and they don't like to back down.
Well, I mean, all you can do is really talk about it, and we continually do every single week. Like, we expect to make those plays. We don't need to add to it. And anytime you single yourself out and someone's talking to you and you're going to try to get the last shove or the last word in, you're going to put yourself in a bad position.
Craig Wells, their quarterback, continuing to throw it down. Raekwon Heath, the guy that we saw last year, pretty good receiver.
Yeah, he made a couple nice. Both of those are pretty nice catches. It was right on our sideline there, so I had firsthand sight there. And
it appears that the trend for the Kansas schools is to get a kicker that could also double as a linebacker. Jalen puts it through, and it's 10-3 at this point in the second quarter. So they're getting into that lead a little bit. What do you talk to your guys about when they're going back out on offense?
Well, we wanted to make sure and answer. You're a one-score game, one-possession game now, and we want to try to go down there and get something going, and unfortunately, we throw an interception.
So the INT comes on the throw, just a little. Sometimes Cam is dead on target, and sometimes he just throws it up for grabs. This one hit as he throws, and a nice pickoff by Kenny Wilkins Jr., his first INT of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Our defense, like I said, our defense playing pretty good. And we got a hit on the quarterback that maybe, knocked that one up in the air.
Yep. Cam showing off his legs, and he looking more and more confident as the season's gone on. That injury obviously is clearing up a little bit. He's turning on the Jets more than we've seen in the early going of the season. That kick by Contreras, a rare miss. And again, it's against the wind that seems to cause his miscues. The one time against, I believe it was Hutch, the kick was too straight. He tried to play the wind and it didn't work. I didn't see exactly which way that one went. But talk about the fact that your kicker is actually somebody you can go, okay, let's go to Chase, because we're going to get this 3 points.
Well, and I mean, that's huge. Like I said, I didn't really hesitate on the 39-yarder, and even after that one there, I think we kicked one more, so I didn't really hesitate. When you have confidence in, one, we got a really good long snapper, and then,
which was something you were questioning going into the season.
We didn't know. We had no idea. We were trying people out, and, Brian comes up to us, and he's like, Coach, I just want a long snap. And I seen him the first day, and I said, yeah, you're only going to long snap. I mean, it's pretty good. And, so we're getting the pieces right there, and Chase is doing what he's supposed to do and kick it up in the air between the uprights.
All right, getting it done at the half, but a lot of talent on the other side of the football. Question is, could they put it together, or can the Reavers hold? From the IWTV studios, I'm Jake Ryan, along with the head coach of the Iowa Western Reavers, Scott Stroh. Coach, you go in 10-3 at the half. You've got some banged up bodies. You're doing what you can, but only a 7-point lead. What was the concern going into the half? What did you talk about with the team?
Well, really, we just want, I thought defensively we didn't have to do much. I mean, we keep doing what we're doing, and offensively, just consistency. I felt against a really good, I think Indy's D is really good, or has some good players, but we have to catch them.
A couple guys you'd be okay with having on your team.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few of them. But we had to shore up some, we had to just, if it's a route depth or an assignment, they were dropping. They did a good job of scouting us, and we're trying to take away some of our stuff, so we just had to maybe come back with some other stuff.
All right, well, let's check out those second half highlights, see what the Reavers could come up with, up 10-3 at the break. The black-white-black combo looking sharp out on the field. And Coach, at least no matter what combo you guys have, it always looks great. How about this first play of the second half? Keenan Stewart comes away with the fumble recovery, just a bad snap, and he was right on top of it.
Well, and that's, like I said, again, good way to come out, and now you got a short field. You got to make them pay in situations like this.
Zion Perry, and then you guys almost give it back. We noticed it in the first half where Zaquandre, as Contreras will take the kick, and it wasn't the prettiest, but he kicks it towards Monkey Island out there at the zoo behind the wall and knocks it down. It's 13-3. We noticed that Zaquandre and Cam, it was always a late pullback or a late handoff, and maybe Sheldon and Cam don't have that chemistry built up yet?
Yeah, it does take some time, and actually we're going to be spending a little bit of time working on our mesh points this week. But I'd like to get a touchdown out of that possession, but sure. Just to get it back to 2 possessions is big.
How about this? Cam to Blaha, what a catch by Tyler in the end zone, his third as a Reaver and his third in the last 2 weeks. A nice throw from Cam, great catch by Tyler.
It was, and Tyler's getting, he's running past a pretty good corner there, and give him a chance, and Cam did that, and Tyler made the play.
All right, so here we are in the third quarter. There's Breon Dixon. We see him had to sit out that first half because of last week's targeting call against him, and he gets in on the tackle right away. Again, they run with their backup quarterback pretty much the entire 3/4 of the game after Stephon Brown went out, and Craig Wells, he did an all right job. Obviously didn't lead to any scores, but still managed the game, I thought.
Yeah, he did, and their offensive coordinator coached him last year at Northland, and he's not putting up the numbers he did at Northland last year, but he's a good player.
It's shocking that he's not putting up the numbers that he did at Northland. You can put up some real numbers if you're a baller up in that league. Reavers get the possession back, running it forward, forced to kick it away, and then, again, they'll go with the short passes, and again, how about Darius Moore and Marcus Haskins? They've really kind of stood out the last couple of weeks at their safety spots.
They have. They're playing really well. I'm glad that they didn't hand it off to number 3 Moore. I'd have played him the whole game. He's a tough one to bring down. Actually, we recruited him a little bit and could have had him, but chose not to go.
Nice tracking there. On the far side, there's Avery Hobbs again. Zion Williams helping out as well. And then they bring in their 4th back of the game, and he comes in with a little bit of energy, gets them about 5 yards or so.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was a new back, I guess.
Well, I knew it was a new back because you had 3, 5, and 7, which is like your TV channels, and then you had the UHF channel in there later with number 23.
I'm serious. I would have played 3. I'd have given him
Morgan Ellison, I believe, is his name.
Yeah.
He was a tough runner, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Nice catch on 4th down, but it was 2 yards shy of the first. And then it's Cam Thomas back to work. Nice little route from Marcel Barbie. Barbie makes the catch, goes down. And the Reavers just trying to stay ahead of the chains. I thought that was something else that you guys did well in this game, which was you didn't have any second and long, third and long situations.
We didn't, and that you got a chance to be successful if look at some of those other games when we're 3rd and 20. 3rd and 15s, you're not going to be very successful offensively.
Shelton Applewhite stepping into the game, hands off to Sheldon Cage. Not enough, got to punt it away again, but guess what? The dark side, they did a nice job. How about Almos Titi holding him up so Avery Hobbs, Ben Sorensen could get in on that tackle?
Yeah, again, you put them, now they're playing behind the chains, and now we're in really good situation. We can pin our ears back because they got to throw it and let our D-line work.
And again, you mentioned the field position. That's something I thought you guys did very well when the game was establishing itself in the early going.
Well, again, I think it's been a lot better. The first 3 games we sat inside our own 5-yard line numerous times. And, again, the shorter field you got, the better chance you got to score.
Nice catch across the middle on the quick route, and then a good gain up the sideline. Guess who makes the tackle? Haskins with the initial contact. Darius Moore is there to bring him down.
Again, they're playing really well. Now we're softening things up here maybe a little bit, just because we got, a lead on them, and just don't want to give up the big one, and we almost did.
Now, yeah, how about the wide open pass that is dropped, and that wide receiver didn't even come back onto the field. He just turned straight to the sideline. That was one I thought they were going to get back within 10.
Yeah. Well, all I remember is looking up and seeing. I'm like, oh my gosh, because you're getting close.
Yep.
Or there's still enough time for them to come back.
Cody Lindquist with the with the shortest punt of the year off the partial block, and then they get again a chance to score down inside the 15-yard line. But the defense has just played so exceptionally this year. You think from year to year, okay, the defense, there's no way the defense is as good as they were last year. But I got to say, this year's defense has really stepped up and is pretty incredible.
They have been, and again, when you got some depth on the D line, that's huge, and we do. And when we can continue, that's why we recruit as many D linemen as we can.
Yeah, there's Morgan Ellison, the guy you talk about. Craig Wells can't handle the snap, does get back with it, but it's too much time spent in the backfield. How about a rollover for Almos Titi, and then you get Jalen Perkins in there as well. Pretty good series of plays overall when Independence had the football. 3 points. You've got 9 quarters without allowing a touchdown, which is a pretty good stretch.
Let's try to keep that streak alive.
Yep.
I like that one. They're playing well. They are, and again, they played on a short field there to secure it. When again, you could have gave them a touchdown. They weren't going to win the game anyways. It was late in the game, but our guys went out there and stopped them. Okay,
you're short-staffed at running back right now because of injuries. The wide receivers have taken some pops. When you get into a game like that, it's 20-3 in the third quarter. Do you say, okay, we're just run the ball. Let's get out of here with as many healthy bodies as we can get?
Yeah, when Zaquandre went out and we only had one running back with us, Sheldon Cage, and we're going to try to milk this thing out as long as we can, and then he ends up getting hurt, and they just get out of the game. I mean, we had to move Tyler Blaha to a position he hasn't played since fall camp, shuffling guys around just to kind of get through that game.
Well, he has a running back number, and I know we've joked about it, but Fitzroy Gardner, put him in at running back, you never know what could happen.
Don't even give him any ideas.
Well, with so many things in life, consistency is key. Our next guest has brought that element to the Reaver Special Teams. Iowa Western Television's Adam Ireland will sit down next with Missouri Valley, Iowa's Chase Contreras. We are back in a moment with more Coach Stroh Show on Iowa Western Television.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
This is a Coach Stroh Show. I'm Adam Ireland. Joining me now, a Big Red alum from Missouri Valley, Iowa. It's Reaver kicker Chase Contreras. Thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely, thank you.
You're from Missouri Valley, Iowa. You're close to home. What made you choose Iowa Western as a school?
Well, like you said, Iowa Western's super close to my home. So last year I commuted from home, redshirted the season, but definitely staying close to home was a big thing for me.
You redshirted your like you just said. What made you want to do that, and why would you? What do you have to do as a redshirt?
So basically, redshirting as a freshman, you just practice with the team, lift, kick in your spare time. But originally I wanted to start as my freshman year, but the competition was pretty good with Hunter and Eddie, so that made me put a lot of more extra work in.
Your Missouri Valley isn't a big school. They probably don't have a lot of sports.
Right.
What positions did you play in football, and what other sports did you play while you were there?
So for football, I actually played quite a bit of positions. More than kicker, I punted, played wide receiver, safety, kick returner, punt returner, sometimes even linebacker. But some other sports I played in high school, other than football, were basketball, soccer, track, and baseball.
So you almost did all the sports possible that you
Yeah,
could.
I tried. I mean, I just tried to be as athletic as possible. I love all the sports there. So,
What were some of your favorite positions playing in football when you were there at Missouri Valley?
definitely kicker for sure. But wide receiver is also one of my favorite. I just love catching the ball and scoring as much as possible.
So you had 8 points racked up against Indy this last week, one of your higher scoring games.
Mm-hmm.
What goes through your head when you run out to the field to kick the field goal, or PAT, or kickoff?
Usually my mind just goes blank, just because I've done it so many times. I've honestly probably kicked the ball about a million times, but just the consistency, knowing that I've done it over and over again, so I'm not too worried or nervous about doing it just because of how many times I've done it. So
you're talking about consistency. How do you prepare for each game you go into and like every week in practice?
usually I'll go to practice 30 minutes early, get kicks up on my own to work on consistency, even stay after practice. And then when we're not practicing, I'll go into the new wellness center and work on my kicks. So.
You have snow this next weekend. They're a pretty physical team. What are you and your team doing to prepare for them?
Personally, getting as many reps in as possible, working on adding depth to my kickoffs. As a team, I definitely think we're going to be a lot more physical this week in practice.
What goes into kicking the ball as far as you do in kickoff and like getting it so far down the field? Like I know wind helps, but what else goes into it?
Usually just getting your whole foot into the ball. A few times in games I'll get a little under it and it'll be short, but I can tell immediately when I get a good hit on the ball. You don't even have to look up and you know it'll go out the back of the end zone. So.
Gotcha. What are your plans for Iowa Western afterwards?
I'm looking to transfer to a D1. It's actually pretty funny. We were on our way to Dodge City and we stopped halfway to practice in Lincoln. And one of their special teams coach saw me kicking and asked if I was interested in transferring after the semester. So I'm going to be looking at going there hopefully pretty soon.
Can you give any information on that at all? Or?
I mean, nothing's official yet, but just know some good things are coming soon. So.
Have you gotten any other opportunities from other schools yet, or is it just Nebraska for now?
Before the season started, Louisiana Monroe wanted me to transfer out right away, but it was just too soon. It was like the week of camp that actually started, so I didn't really have time to go and visit. But as of now, Nebraska's pretty much it. So.
All right, thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely.
That was kicker Chase Contreras. I'm Adam Ireland. We'll get this weekend's weather forecast when we come back. Jake and Coach will talk about this weekend's matchup with Snow College. More Stroh Show after this on the Reaver Sports Network and IWTV.
The Dr. John and Jean Marshall Wellness Center, opening summer of 2019. Iowa Western.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
From Council Bluffs, Iowa, and the studios of IWTV, we are wrapping up another edition of the Stroh Show as the Reavers get a big-time opponent in town this weekend. Snow College, last year's bowl opponent, coming to Titan Stadium. Perennially great team. Coach, what can you tell us about the Badgers, other than they are world travelers right now at this point?
Yeah, I don't want to be in their position the way they got to travel. I talked to their coach on Sunday, probably around 3 o'clock, and we're trying to exchange film, and he's like, well, when we get back home, I'll send it to you. And we didn't get it.
They were in Miami last week.
Yes. So they didn't
Not
get
Miami,
back.
Oklahoma.
No, Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm guessing they flew, but they probably had a whole bunch of layovers and connecting flights.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're a solid football team. They beat Garden City week 1. You know, kind of a surprise loss to Lackawanna. But then went on the road and beat ASA Miami. I mean, they're the typical Snow. They're big, they're physical. They're not maybe as big in some spots as they were last year, but their skill guys are they're more skillful.
How much have they changed? They've got a new head coach. How much have they changed since that bowl game? Just less than a year ago.
Offensively, they're the same. He was the offense coordinator, so they're pretty much the same there. Defensively, they're similar. They're now in a little bit different front, but you know, a lot of the same thought process on their back end, the way they cover. But they have better skill guys, you know, wide receivers, more speed than they've had.
All right. Well, hopefully they got a couple more layovers than they need on this one. A big one this weekend in Council Bluffs. Make sure you come out early to take part in the free pregame tailgate. All of that action begins about an hour and a half before the game. It is our cancer awareness game. Of course, October is pink out, so the team will wear their pink, also the color that has been selected this year as a nod to the breast cancer. But we invite you to come out and wear whatever color of the cancer that you or someone close to you is fighting. And of course, if you don't know what that is, they are online everywhere. Just Google the cancer ribbons and you can figure out where it's at. Lavender will cover all your bases, for that matter, if you're having a tough time deciding. We'll honor several survivors during the game on Saturday. A big special thank you going out to Barley's Bar and Grill for putting on that pregame tailgate week in and week out. We will have our pregame on 89.7 The River at 12:30. Live stream begins at about 12:55 or so on GoReavers.com. As the Reaver Vision crew of Adam and Ireland and Riley Teeton will bring you all of those sights from Titan Stadium. Thanks again for tuning in today, and of course, thanks again to the IWTV crew and Iowa Western media students for helping to make this week's show a go. If you want to be part of the awesome things that are done here each day on campus in Iowa Western, make sure you log on to iwcc.edu.